I was born on January 21st, 1984. On that day, these men were the leaders of the world. These men and this woman. That evening, in most Canadian homes, people were watching hockey. If they didn't like hockey, they had lots of other choices. On January 21st, 1984, fashion looked like this. Cars looked like these. People still talked on this. And this was a computer. On January 21st, 1984, I was still far from being part of that world. Here's what my world looked like. This is the refugee camp in Thailand where I was born. My parents had fled the civil war in Cambodia and lived in various camps for the next 4 years. We received a favorable response from Quebec, and so boarded a plane for Montreal in the fall of 1985. On December 4th, 1985, the wife of an Olympic champion gave birth. My sister was born that same evening. She thus became our family's first Canadian citizen. On February 13th, 1986, men were making restaurant reservations to take their sweethearts out to dinner the next day. My father was writing a letter to a Quebec friend who had remained in the refugee camps. Dear Mika, how are you? And our boss and the students? Yes, it's cold here, but it's only cold in the body, which is different from my country, where it's cold in the heart. On November 9th, 1989, a wall fell on the other side of the ocean. On this side, my first wall also fell. I discovered a new world outside the cocoon of my family. For the first time, I was going to a school where almost all the students spoke French, Francophone Canadians. 3 years later, I knew the words to O Canada by heart. I was becoming a Canadian like all my other friends at school. October 1995 was a tense time in Canada. There was a referendum asking the people whether Quebec should separate from the rest of Canada and become independent. My friends and I were still very young and we thought it was all a game. In the schoolyard, I was on the no side. The day after the referendum, I saw that my parents were disappointed. I didn't understand. That's when I learned that they had voted yes. As immigrants, they had done the opposite of what I expected because they felt a sense of belonging to Quebec. Like everyone, I had my difficult teenage years. I resented my parents because of their culture. They wouldn't allow me the same freedom as my Quebecois friends. I hated the fact that I was Cambodian. I started listening to music and dreamed of growing up to be an artist. Needless to say, my parents did not approve. Years went by. I made choices that did not please my parents. I went to live abroad. And then I started making films. That helped me better understand who I was. It brought me a little closer to my parents and to my Cambodian identity. Today, I'm the sum of all these things. Looking back, I realize how lucky I am to be here. And I have to thank my parents for that. For all the sacrifices they made over 32 years ago, when they left everything behind so they could give me and my sister a better life.